Okay, so hello everyone. I'm pretty sure I met most of you guys yesterday. My name's Emily, and I'm the executive manager of the Youth Scholarship Program. So today, you guys are all part of the managing team. So today, our main job is so that we can all finalize a decision for this program. So we have a couple of questions I hope within like these 30 minutes we can answer. So first, we need to figure out how we're gonna divide the groups. So we want to have different groups so that we can give different awards. So each group will have their own award. Like each group will have one first, second, and third place because it wouldn't be fair if you were a middle schooler and you were in the same level as an elementary school student. So let's just start with that. Does anybody have any ideas like how they would like to split up the groups? So if you're part of the managing group, it's best if you like give ideas because that's the whole point we have this group.
Yeah, I have a few ideas, but can you wait? Because I need to pull up a document because like I have to like be secretary and like record everything. So like mine does like I like pull up stuff so I could write stuff down.
Is it okay if like you speak a bit closer? I can't really hear you.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Sorry.
It's okay.
All right, so I was just pulling up a document because you need to organize everything, right?
Yeah. So Derek will be the main leader of the managing group. So in the end, like we will finalize a plan and Derek will be the one in charge of making sure everything happens like accordingly.
All right.
So, Derek, do you have any ideas or?
So there are like two types of divisions we could kind of do. So one is to divide by age, right? And the other is to be dividing by like English experience and whether they lived in America, etc., right? So like, should we combine those two things, or should we just like purely rely on like English experience? That's just like that's what I'm thinking right now.
So what I was thinking was kind of like, cause I feel like we should combine these two, cause one by it's like, I was thinking that we could once we send out everything, before they give us their recording, we will give out like a Google form or something like that. And then they could answer the questions like, how old are you? How many years you have been learning English? Do you go to an international school? Stuff like that. But that's just like my idea.
Yeah. So all right. So well, I think the age division stuff is the easiest to do. So how do we split them the age groups? So like elementary school, middle school, high school? I don't know.
Yeah, we probably will do like elementary, middle school, and high schoolers. But the problem with that is that there might be elementary school students who are like even better than middle schoolers because they've been to like international schools.
Well, yeah, that's where the other criteria comes in, right? So we're not purely relying off age. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, we can first divide elementary, middle school, then high schoolers.
We're doing it by grade, by the way. So is it by grade or by age?
It doesn't really make a difference, cause, yeah.
我前面昨天我说了一下，可能先分为境内班和境外班。境内就是中国体制内学校，境外就是有海外留学经验或者是中国上国际学校的。所以如果你们分5大组，我个人建议是境内的小学、初中、高中，境外的小学和初中。
Okay. So what she was basically saying is that we should split into two groups, one that have been into international schools and the other group where they haven't been to international school before. And then within these two, we will split it into grade level. So,
Wait,
is there,
do you think that we're like people who have went or lived in America will be like, joining this kind of contest or?
so I feel like it should be kind of you've never been to international school or lived in America. That's one group. Another group is if you've lived in America and been to international schools.
All right, so as far as I'm concerned, this creates 6 groups.
Yeah, so we were kind of thinking like if you've been to school in America, the high schoolers and middle schoolers would probably be together because I don't think there's gonna be a lot of high schoolers like giving in their recordings.
Yeah, all right. Cool. So we end up with group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right?
So does anyone else have any suggestions? Cause like feel free to speak up. This is just a meeting where we'll
Also, excuse me as I move. There's a lot of background noise.
yeah, Derek, you're kind of soft, so we can't really hear you that well.
Yeah, I don't really like talking loud that much. So. Is there a lot of background noise, by the way?
No, you're good.
All right, cool. I thought there was background noise. So, yeah. So we have 6 groups so far. Well, 5 basically, right? Because we're combining 2 groups, right? 2 groups into one.
So do you think we should just split into 4? So like the ones who are also from China, like they will just have an elementary school and then a middle and high schooler group.
Wait. So which 2 groups are we combining?
So we're combining the group that have lived in America and international school. They will just have an elementary school and a middle and high school combined. Middle and high school combined.
So we have 4 groups. One for like an elementary division, the other for
Yes.
middle school, high school division.
Yes.
And also whether you have international school or not international school.
Yes.
So that's 4.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel
so,
like more than 4 would be bad, right? 'Cause
more than 4 would be better or
worse.
worse? Yeah. Cause I was thinking because we only have 5,000 like Chinese money, so it's best if we like have less groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jennifer, Eileen, Bridget, do you guys have any like suggestions or comments?
Just one thing for if we're doing it by age group, but there like still might be some like middle schoolers or high schoolers who have like barely any experience. So how are we going to decide if they should go down a level or like some people should go up a level? Like I feel like doing it by age group isn't really efficient because your age doesn't determine how like good your English is, right?
Yeah, so we're not really doing it just by age group. So I feel like I should just like be clear, like so far this is what we have, but it can change. So what we have so far is, so we have one group that's elementary that are from China, another elementary group that have been to international schools and been to America, and then we have, okay, yeah, this is probably so much easier. So 1 is elementary international, 2 is elementary no international, 3 is middle school / high school international, and 4th is middle school, high school, no international.
Wouldn't it be easier to just call it like level 1, 2, 3, 4? That way people can just apply per level based on how good their English is.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna do it at the end, but it's like right now we don't know what the different levels are.
Okay, and then how are you going to decide like what level they fall into? Like, is there going to be a test or like an example for each one, for each level or something?
So, this is just my opinion. So I think it will be kind of too complicated if we give them a test. So we'll just probably send out a form and you just answer like how long have you been to international school? What's your grade level? Stuff like that.
I would
I
agree.
think because like even if you've learned for a longer time, you might not be better at English, right? Because like it depends on how well you've learned it. So wouldn't it be easier for like each level to give like an example of what kind of story might be written or something? Like for level 1, have an example story, or like if we're doing it off Raz Plus, we can just take a story off there and like, so this is around the level that level 1 people will be reading stories from. And then people can look at the story and decide like, oh, I think my story can match that level. I will compete in that level, and let them decide. Because if we place them into the levels, then it kind of like destroys the purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're
So
testing them to put them in like certain levels. Doesn't that destroy the point of the contest?
Yeah. Like what you guys were saying earlier, if you put all the best people in one level, then that just kind of like, there's no point to the competition, right?
yeah, but like the thing about the RAS Plus is, aren't we technically doing the same thing? Because we're still putting them into levels based on if they think they're at that, if they think they can read the RAS Plus.
Yeah, I think we should let them, like, I don't think we should be allowed to like choose which level they go into. Like we should just give like, oh, this level has like, give them example of a story that we think is at level 1 or whatever. And then they can read the stories and decide which level they want to compete in. Like any other competition, like you'll be like, if it's like a piano competition, they'll give you a bunch of pieces that you can choose from, and you think if you can play those pieces, then you'll be at that level.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think that makes more sense.
Okay. So like, does majority think like that's fine? Because it's like we should probably work more towards like a group
Yeah, but
decision.
all right. So from what I understand, what's going on, like the Raz Plus thing, they're saying that you could inspire at your essay from Raz Plus, or you could just basically translate a Raz Plus essay.
So what I was thinking is, it will probably make more sense if they don't just recreate, like they don't just read off of it, but like they kind of recreate it. So like for example, if there's like a RAS Plus story that we give them, or like they can choose, and then they can like recreate the ending or like make it unique in their own way. Because I feel like there's no point if they just read off of it.
Don't we just give each of them a prompt? Like, finish the
Uh-huh.
ending of this story. Like, for like giving, like, I feel like our directions are like a little bit arbitrary in the
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that we're like, all right, here's the bunch of stories, do whatever you want with it. But that's like asking them to like, you could change it as much as you want, but you could also change it as little as you want. And I'm afraid of the latter. So I feel like maybe we could like probably like look at a few of the stories, maybe choose like 3 or 4, and then like change, like delete some section of it, and then ask them to rewrite it. That will be like considered the like, creativity part of the entire thing, I guess.
Wait, Derek.
What?
So like like the Raz Plus stories, right? Like some of them like are just like they're not actual stories. So like if we can't like actually use some of them because they're like something like it's just like about just like objects or something. We can't just use that. Like some of them are like the turtle and the rabbit. Like we could definitely use that. But some of the Raz Plus stories like we technically shouldn't use. So like we should probably give them more to use other than Raz Plus. Because like I taught before, so
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah,
So
you could just assign like a few different stories for each level, and then like what Derek was saying earlier, just like assign one section that they change. That way we're testing both just their reading ability, like everyone reads the same part so we can compare it better, and then also let them rewrite some parts, so that's also testing creativity. That way we're doing both. Because if we let them create the entire story, I think that's more like on the creativity side. We're not really caring how they read it. I think that should be like more of the emphasis.
So is it okay? Okay, so do we feel like we should just let them like recreate the ending of a story, or like do we think they should just read off of a RAS Plus story that already exists?
I think we should assign a story for each level first, like maybe assign 2 or 3, that way they have a little bit of a choice, and then let them recreate the ending. Like take out the last few paragraphs, or
Mm-hmm.
depending on however long it is, and just let them like write a few sentences. That way it's more focused on the reading, but we also like give them a chance to write in English too.
Give them several stories, right?
Yeah, maybe not several, maybe just like 3 for each level. That way it's not like a trillion of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way it'll like, that makes it so we don't have to give them an example story. They can just choose whichever level of story they can actually read, and then that will automatically put them into levels as well. That makes it a lot easier too.
So I feel like for each level, we should have like 3 different stories, and then they can choose if they feel like they can understand it, and then they recreate the ending based off of that.
So from what I'm
and then that's how they decide which level they want to be into.
Yeah.
Just decide whichever story. Yeah, that makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
So what I'm understanding is that there are 3 testing stories on each level, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna have, and I'm gonna assume that, like we're gonna try to vary the genre of each one, so that they could pick and choose what kind of piece they would want to like emphasize or like finish.
Mm-hmm.
So
that I guess that will like be like the end of like whatever writing ability we're trying to test, or creativity thing we're trying to test here, right?
Yeah. So I feel like for this, like our main focus is like one.
We can change the end of it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one is like like our main focus is that they can read it. Like that's one thing we're judging it based off. We also want to judge based on like some of their creativity of how they can use like language to express what they mean. Because like I feel like for ESL, it shouldn't just be based on how well they speak it, but also how well they write it. So can someone tell me like if they've ever used Raz Plus to teach students? Like just say your name or something like that. Okay.
I've taught Raz Plus too.
Victor and Jenny?
Yeah, I've taught in Raz Plus before.
Okay, who else have taught in Raz Plus before?
Yeah, I've taught like kids for like a couple of months on Raz
Rosie.
Plus.
Okay. Is that it?
Wait, will we be testing them on like speaking ability, as in like their ability to express themselves as they read?
Wait, so that
or are we just testing for like fluency and like grammar, right? Well, they're reading off of their
should be fluency, because this is testing their English ability, right? Not their like public speaking ability. If you test on like how well they like read the story, like in terms of like presentation, then that's more like public speaking, and like other than like English.
Wait, so what about?
Because are we testing their English ability or like their public speaking ability?
English.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess there's 2 things: accent clarity and like sentence structure, right? Besides that, I don't see what else we could test on.
Wait, Victor, did you have something to say?
So like, what's our basic?
I guess it's like fluency, like not stopping in the middle, like being able to read.
Like, what's our rubric?
Yeah. So, we will be splitting like so in this managing group. Like some people will have to have different jobs. So one thing is here are the jobs that we need so far. Like we need someone to help create a rubric. So we already have one, but it's not exactly like the best one, not our final one yet. So we need a few people to create a group and create a rubric. We also need a group of people so that they can choose the stories for each level. Because is everybody fine with the idea that we will base off their levels based on if they can read these stories? Like we will let them choose.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That makes it fair for everyone.
Okay, so if we just decide on that, that'll be the final idea. So now we just need people, for example, Victor, Jenny, and Rosie. Since you guys have used Raz Plus, I think it'd be nice if like you 3 work together to figure out which stories for them to use.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you guys will just work as a group to work on that. So we also need someone to help create the rubric. So Jennifer, Eileen, Grace, are you guys able to work as a group to just come up with the rubric?
Yeah, I think we can.
You can? Okay. So you guys will, let me just write that down. So, Jennifer.
等一下，什么叫测试英语？测试 testing story 什么意思啊？
So for each level, we're gonna assign 3 stories that they can choose from, and then that'll determine which level they're in. So if they think they can read that story, then yeah.
就选故事对吧？
对，so 每个 level 有3个故事，我们给他们，他们可以自己去选。如果他们觉得他们会读的可以，他们就选那个 level。
哦，OK。
Okay, so now we have that done. So we're gonna have 3. So do you guys think that we should have 3 levels or 4? Because now that we're not basing it off of like grade or anything,
Wait,
I think
wait. So we're not basing it off of grade? So what are we doing? So I thought we're like this is
just basing off of which story they like, which level they think they can read at themselves.
oh wait, so we're having them choose. So do they get to look at the prompt stories beforehand and they get to choose, right?
yeah. So pretty much.
So we'll give them all. Yeah.
So sorry.
No, it's okay.
So what's gonna happen is that we're gonna give out, like, let's say we have 3 levels, so we're gonna give out 9 stories. So one level will have 3 stories, and each level will have 3 stories. And then we will give all these 9 stories and give it to the students, and they will choose which level they think they can do based off of if they can read these stories. Does that kind of make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they just choose their level they think they
Yeah, because I feel like everyone thinks that's like more fair to do.
All right, so wait. Shouldn't we like weight the groups higher, because like what if everyone chooses the easiest group?
Yeah, I think we should give the highest group like a higher reward just to like encourage them to try harder things, or else like the high school kids just want to choose level 1 because they know
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
we
so
can like arrange the money that way.
yeah, so now let's just like talk a bit about like how we will arrange the awards. So we have 5,000 yuan. So each level will have a first, second, and third place winners. So since we want to give the higher level like more like money as a reward, how do you guys think we should split the money? So first, like, are we all good deciding that each level have first, second, and third place?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then so in the end, when we choose first, second, and third place, since each level has 3, then in the end, we're going to have like a final showcase where these 9 students we're going to be on a Zoom and we can just listen to them read their speeches. Like read their stories. So that's like the final.
All right, so let's first split between the levels first, and then we could decide how we're going to split the places. So how much do you want to give to each division, or like level, or whatever you want to call it? Or like
Like, so for the higher level, I'd probably do 1,500, and for the lower level, 1,000. And then that's basically 2,500. And there's 2 parts because there's one domestic and one international.
wait,
Yeah, so we're not really doing the domestic and international thing anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
making them choose their level. So 5,000 yen, we're splitting it 1,500, 1,000, and then
I think we can do 2,000 for the first one, and then 1,750, and then 1,250. I mean, that would use all the money, so I guess. We
1,000.
can like arrange it a little, and then 1,250 for the last one.
Okay, yeah.
Well, we have 4 divisions, I thought.
No, we're just gonna have 3 levels.
3, all right.
Because that way, like, it's easier since we have 3 teachers who've done Raz Plus before. Like, each teacher can think of like the groups.
So, all right, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good.
That looks good.
Yeah, and then we just have to figure out like each division how much we give for.
Um, give their money like proportional to like the higher score, like
Yeah.
they get on the final round, or do you want to like give a fixed amount to the each of the places?
I feel like we shouldn't give like a fixed amount to each person because we're gonna run out of money. So, like we should just decide how much we want for first, second, and third, because we have a group of people who will also be in charge of like the posters and everything. So we should probably write on the poster like how this whole thing will work. So,
Oh wait, yeah. So if we make it, yeah, okay, cool. So so how are the rounds going to work? So they're going to get a rubric and high score wins, right? Goes up
yeah.
to, right?
So okay, now that we're done with the money, like we can just leave it for that, and I'll choose like a few people to work out first, second, third place for each. But now about the like how we're gonna judge. So our goal is to have 10 youth teacher judges, and then what these judges will, because our goal is to have like 100 people given their recordings. But here's the thing. So I feel like if we want to be fair, it would be better if not one, like each recording will have 2 judges to listen to it.
Right. So we're getting approximately 100 people.
100 recordings, yeah. Like that's our goal to have.
Our goal in each level or each
In total.
or
In total, yeah.
So we assume like 33 split-ish.
Yeah, like for that, like we can't really like decide now. We just have to see how many, but we can just like split the judges once we see how many people will in each level. But just for now, like, are you guys okay if each recording have 2 judges listen to it? Because that means each judge will have to listen to more.
I think the more judges, like, I think 3 would honestly be better, but if we only have like 10 judges, then 2 should be fine.
Yeah, so because our max time is 3 minutes, so we don't want the readings to be more than 3 minutes. So that's why I think it'd be best if we just have 2 judges for 1 recording, because we're gonna have different rounds. So the preliminary round, each person, like the judges will have to listen to some of it, and then they will choose their top 5 based on how much recordings they have, or top 3, and then they will go to the second round.
So in each level there are like so there are how many judges in each level?
Well, we don't know how many people are going to choose each level, so we have to figure out how many people are in each level before we assign judges.
Yeah.
So like.
But at the same time, I feel like the same 2 judges should judge every single recording in each level. So.
All right. So let's say if we have like multiple judges in each round, right? So there's one judge making the decision and like picking the 5 best out of each and every group they pick out the 5 best people. So if you have like say 3 judges in the first level, would you have like 15 people going up? Is that how it's going to work?
Not exactly. So yeah, so for the judging part, I feel like we can't really decide everything like definitely until we see how many people are in each level. So for that part, like we don't have to worry about it now, because right now we just want to give this poster out, like our final decision, and give it out like by the end of this week.
All right.
Yeah. So let me think. Okay, so sorry, yeah.
So we'll figure out how many people we're eliminating each round, like later, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay. So, sorry.
We still haven't like decided how much money first place goes, or are we doing it proportional to the score they receive? Like,
I have some numbers for first, second, and third if you guys want to just see if it's okay. I kind of tried to split it.
Mhm.
Okay, so for the first group, for 2000, first place will get 850, and then second place is 675, and then third place is 475. And we can make them more equal if you guys want. I don't know how like much better first place would be than second place.
Uh-huh.
And then for 1750, I have 750 for first place, and then 600, and then 400. And then, hold on. So for the last group, let me make it more even. Maybe like 525, and then 425, and then that's 950. And then the last person would get 300. I think that adds up. No, hold on. Yeah, okay.
325.
Just 300.
I'm not doing the math here, so.
It's okay. We can make them more equal later on. That's just what I have. We can just.
I think those splits are pretty fine.
Yeah, I feel like they're fine. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't. It's not that much money in the first place.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, I would say that there should be like a consistent difference between like. Actually, never mind. I'll think about that later.
We can make them more equal later. That's just like approximate.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing about the judging, so if we have 2 judges per recording, what's going to end up happening is if you guys disagree, we'll just take the average. So Jennifer, Eileen, and Grace, you guys are making the rubrics. So make sure you guys have number system rubrics. So I want you guys, I will talk to you guys more about it later, but what I want you guys to have is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want you guys to like write down for if you think they have 1 point, what is their standard? If you think they have 5 point, what is their standard? So I feel like it's better if we have like a number-based rubric. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total 5 points.
All right, so
Okay.
we're
Oh, what's the total amount on the rubric?
5 points.
Yeah, you guys can decide. Like that's like up to you guys. But I just want to let you guys know that it's best if you guys created like a number system rubric.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right, so we're creating a rubric and high score wins, right? And
So-
if the 2 judges disagree on who's first place, second place, third place, etc., we like take the average of their scores, right?
Yes.
So, actually, isn't it just easier to just take the average of all their scores? Like, literally have like because we are recording their information through like a form. Isn't it easier to take their information, put in it into like another thing, and then enter their score, and then take an average of that?
I didn't really follow that.
Whatever. My point is that isn't it just easier just to take an average? Just like
Yeah,
no matter what happens, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was trying to say. Yeah, we're just taking an average.
Wait, one question. So like say if level 1 has like 20 people or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we like shouldn't the same 2 judges listen to all 20 recordings though? Because like if 2 judges listen to this recording and like their idea of a 5 is not the same as like if there's 2 recordings and there's 4 different judges, 2 listen to one of them and 2 listen to the other. Those like 2 sets of judges might have a different idea of like what's a good score and what's a bad score.
Yeah, so in the end, what we'll do is we will have like each judges, they will be split into like different levels. So if you're part of this level, you will be the one deciding all of it until the end. And then someone else will be deciding it. Does that kind of make sense? Or
So like are we like switching judges by rounds? I feel like that would make sense. Like for the first round, 2 judges
That's a good point.
are
Like,
assigned level 1, and then they go to level 2. A lot of different people are listeners. If we have the same judge listen to
you're
there's
kind
no
of
point
like,
in having more than 1 round, right? They're just listening.
Jenny, it was like it kept on breaking off. Okay.
um,
Yeah, Derek.
oh wait, yeah. I think the gist of the point was that we should every single round we should switch judges. So
Okay, yeah.
yeah, I feel like that's more fair because
Okay.
like just to not create bias for like the people you have judged in the past.
Okay. Yeah, so we can switch around.
So switch.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, so right now, so Bridget, you and Veronica, you two will be working on like the newsletter so that we can like explain to people about what's happening. Like, are you okay with that role? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you two will form a team. So right now, our goal is that we will split into different groups so that we can be faster. Because our goal is that by the end of this weekend, we will be telling everybody what we're doing so that we can just start accepting all the recordings. Does that make sense? So we're kind of on a tight schedule, but it's because it's our first time doing it. In the future, like we'll have a lot more time. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah. Also, like, can everyone like send their emails to me? Here, I'll send my email through the chat and like email me, so I could like add you to that document so everyone could like view it after.
Yeah.
So my email is Derek DEREK Wang WANG 789 @gmail.com. So like just put hi or something so I could like email you guys. I could add all of you guys to the Google Doc. Is that clear?
Yeah. Okay. So also, so since we're pretty much like a small team ourselves, is everybody more familiar with using WeChat to contact, or do you guys have like another way you like to contact?
Gmail is easy
Gmail?
for me.
Okay. So, because what I'm gonna be gonna do is that we're probably gonna be split into. I'm gonna split you guys into different groups so you can work together. So if Gmail is more convenient, I'll contact you guys through Gmail. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so just everybody like send their email to Derek, and then we can all view the document together, and then that way when you guys view the document, just write down your email on it so that I can just contact you guys through that. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, so any last questions or comments?
Emily， 你能做在共享文件里吧？因为我在国内访问不了Gmail共享。
哦，OK，那就还是用微信。
没所谓，反正就是有一份文档，我能共享，我能看到你们，或者你们有一份文章共享给我。
Okay, yeah.
Wait, but how is she going to view all this stuff if like?
I can just take a picture and send it to her. Like that's fine.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You could just like convert it to like some sort of.
So any last questions or comments? Great. Thank you everybody for coming today. Hopefully we can get this done. And yeah, so thank you everybody. You guys are free to go. I will be contacting you guys individually. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
拜拜。